And we are back on Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and I'm now joined by Miami Dolphins defensive tackle, Chaz Alecxih. Thanks for joining the show tonight, Chaz. How's it going?
It's going well, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, be honest. I pronounced your last name right, man? If not, please correct me.
You did not, but it's a very hard last name. It's pronounced Alecxih.
Okay. See, I actually had to go to Google Translate, and she did not pronounce it right for me, man.
It's all good, brother. Yeah, it sounds easier than it looks.
Yeah, most definitely. Chaz, I want to start this interview off by talking about your college days as you attended the University of Pittsburgh. I know you grew up in Philadelphia. Was that one of the main reasons why you decided to attend that school?
Yeah, it was a couple reasons. Mainly, it was because, quite frankly, I didn't have a lot of offers coming out of college, and the coach at the time, Dave Wannstedt, really showed an interest in me. And obviously, I visited there like everyone does when they attend college, and I loved it. And I thought it was a place I could succeed, so that got me to attend.
And you were a walk-on on the football team, isn't that right?
That is correct, yes.
What were some things you had to do to prove you were capable of being a member of the Pitt Panthers football team?
I mean, it was a lot, man. Obviously coming in and being a walk-on, you have a lot to prove, and a lot of people, when I would tell them that, they'd be like, oh, well, they only see you as a contender. But I would say just I had to show that both in the weight room and on the field, I was just as good, if not better, than the guys I was with. And I really had to kind of fight for every ounce of respect to show the coaches that, I could play and I could be a contributor, and I did that over the years.
And you ended up redshirting your first year there, and during your second year, you got to see some time on the field as you played in 4 games. Can you tell us about your first college football game that you played in?
Yeah, I remember it vividly. It was against Navy, and my grandfather actually went to the Naval Academy, so my whole family was there, and hadn't played in the game, and at the end of it, it was like a couple minutes left. My coach turned to me. He was like, "All right, if I put you in there, don't crap your pants. Like go out, play your technique." And I did it, and I was, yeah. I mean, not literally, but I was pretty nervous. So, but yeah, obviously, once you get a few snaps, it kind of all falls into play.
Dang, man, so your first college football game, you got your own grandfather rooting against you.
Yeah, that kind of, I think he was rooting, for me and Navy, which is kind of weird, but that's how it goes sometimes, huh?
Chaz, in 2009, you played in 12 games as a reserve defensive tackle, and during that season, you recorded your first quarterback sack. You went on to record 12 tackles, 4 sacks, and a blocked kick. Can you tell us about that first sack you had at Pitt?
First what? I'm sorry?
The first quarterback sack you recorded at Pitt?
It was actually extremely unimpressive. We were playing Louisville, and I was in there. They threw me in there on 3rd down, and pretty much the 2 defensive ends made the quarterback step up, and I just kind of fell on him, and it was like for a 1-yard loss. But it went in the books as a sack, and then I went around telling everyone I got my first sack, and then when we watched it on film, they were like, "Oh wow, that was your first sack." So I caught a lot of crap about that, but second one was much better. It was in a bigger game, and I actually made a good move and got the quarterback, so I was able to redeem myself then.
Hey, man, that's all that matters. And, Chaz, in 2010, you became the starting defensive tackle of the Pittsburgh Panthers. Entering that season, did you know that you would end up being a starter, or did you have to show up and impress your coaches?
I went into spring ball as a starter, and my coach told me, he's like, "Listen, you're going to be the starter, but I'm gonna throw some guys in there and make you compete." And I did it, and I went in the first game as a starter. Actually against Utah, and I played very poorly, almost got benched. But then, the next game I actually ended up having 3 quarterback sacks, so that that helped me out a little. But yeah, I had to fight for it, but they had me slated as a starter going in there. So, you know, it was a little combination of both.
All right, and that 2010 season was arguably your best season in college as you recorded 57 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, and 7.5 sacks. That's a pretty damn good stat line right there, if you ask me, Chaz. Looking back, do you feel that was your best season thus far in your football career?
Honestly, I feel like my senior year was better. I mean, I know my overall tackles went down a little, but I know I had a couple more TFLs and one less of a sack. But I feel like the last 4 or 5 games of my junior year is where I really, I started really playing with confidence, and I feel like I carried that into my senior year. So, both years were successful in their own way, but junior year is definitely where I started to become the player I am today.
And overall, both football-wise and school-wise, how was your college experience at the University of Pittsburgh?
Oh, it was phenomenal. I mean, I really couldn't. The only thing I would change is I wish we had gotten to win the Big East outright one year and go to a BCS game. Obviously, that's very disappointing, but I couldn't. It couldn't be better. I mean, I graduated with a degree in communications, and I love my school, and I'll be a proud alumnus to the day I die.
All right, that sounds good, man. You guys are listening to Sportsman Radio. I'm your host, Chris Shanafeld, talking with Miami Dolphins defensive tackle Chaz Alecxih. Is that right there?
Yeah, you got it right on the head right there.
All right, cool. I had to make sure. Chaz, you entered the 2012 NFL Draft. You went undrafted. Were you expecting to hear your name called?
I was, man. I'm going to be honest with you. Obviously, I was invited to the combine and, performed very poorly, but I redeemed myself in my pro day. And, I had probably 25 to 28 teams call for my draft day number. And, I had, my agent was telling me, I think you're going to go, late. So, yeah, it was very disappointing, and I was surprised. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it.
And after the draft, you got a phone call from the Miami Dolphins. Can you tell us about that phone call?
Yeah, well, after the draft, teams start calling you in the 7th, being like, "Oh, well, we're going to try to take you, but we're not sure if we're going to be able to, but we'd love to have you as a free agent." But the Dolphins. My D-line coach Casey Rogers called me and was like, "Hey, we like you a lot. Obviously, we weren't able to draft you, but we'd love to have you come here." And at that point, you really just gotta trust your agent. They do all the numbers stuff, before the draft, and they have to calculate, what are the best chances you make the team. So then he called me. He was like, it came down between them and the Cowboys, and he was like, I think we got to go with the Dolphins. So that's what I did.
And what was it like when you signed that first NFL contract of yours, and then you go on to the Miami Dolphins locker room and see your name right there above a locker?
Oh, it was exhilarating, man. It's I grew up since the freaking 3rd grade saying I wanted to play in the NFL, and to walk into an NFL locker room and see your name, like you said, is just you really can't describe it in words.
Chris, Chaz, you spent last season on the practice squad learning from a very, very talented D-line. One of my favorites. I mean, you guys have Cameron Wake, Jared Odrick as the defensive ends, and then in the inside you have Randy Starks and Paul Solai. What are some things that you learned from those teammates of yours?
I mean, like you said, I think we're if not the most talented D-line. We're one of the top 5. I mean, it's just a phenomenal group. I mean, obviously 2 Pro Bowlers last year, and two other very productive starters. It's just, I would say, we're a brotherhood in there, and they all took me under their wing, and like you learn to be patient, but you also learn so much with your technique, practicing with those guys every day and watching them perform, and it's just, you can't put a price tag on how much experience you get, even from not even playing, just from observing and practicing in 1 year.
Chris Shanfeld here talking with Miami Dolphins defensive tackle Chaz Alecxih. Chaz, you said you guys are like a brotherhood. You look at your Twitter avatar, man, and we see what they did to your hair. We we all know what happened on Hard Knocks. You know, now I know this is the first NFL locker room that you've been in, but do you think, you know, there's other NFL locker rooms around the league that are like the Miami Dolphins? I mean, it seems like you guys are very close to each other.
I mean, we really are. You know, going into the NFL, you know, obviously I had a lot of friends that were in the NFL, you know, former teammates and whatnot, and, you know, some of them tell me, like, yeah, you know, their locker rooms are closed, but others tell me, you know, it's more of a business. So, I mean, to go in there and to see that, you know, the Dolphins locker room is one where, like, you know, people really legitimately care about each other, and, like, they see each other as a big family. You know, it sounds cliche, but it's true. So it's really, you know, it's just awesome.
And all right, and Chaz, let's talk a little bit about this upcoming season. The NFL draft was just a couple weeks ago. Does it really feel like a year that you've been in the NFL for a year already?
No, not at all. No, it feels like a couple months at most.
Now, you guys went on to trade up and draft Deion Jordan out of Oregon, 3rd overall. What are your thoughts on that draft pick?
I mean, I'm not one to you know, from what I've seen, he's a phenomenal athlete. I mean, he's one of the most explosive people. You know, I watch a lot of football. He's one of the most explosive people that I saw last year, and I think he's going to come in and be a phenomenal player.
Let's see. You know, you've played quarterback Geno Smith a few times in college, and as we know, Geno was drafted in the 2nd round by the New York Jets. You'll be seeing him at least 2 times a year for a while now. How do you feel about that?
I mean, Geno, going against him in college, he actually, I think he beat us. He beat me personally every single year we played against him. I always look forward to it. He's a great player. I mean, what else can you say? I was surprised he got out of the 1st round. But you know, that'll be really cool. You know, he just, like I said, I always just look forward to playing against them, and he's a great player.
You gonna be seeking revenge on Geno?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, I look forward to every opportunity, but I wouldn't say revenge is a good word.
All right, now, of course, you guys made a lot of noise in free agency by signing wide receiver Mike Wallace, tight end Dustin Keller, linebacker Donnell Ellerby. I mean, I could go on. You guys added a lot of talent on the team. I'm not trying to add any pressure on you guys, but I expect you guys to make it to the playoffs this season. Is that what your expectation is for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone in the locker room, you know, thinks that we have a very, very talented team this year, and we know that, you know, obviously you said we acquired a lot of great players. So, I mean, we last year was Coach Phillips' first year, and he did pretty damn good. If you look at it, 7-9 in the first year quarterback. So I think everyone's expecting a better year than last year, to be sure.
And what are your expectations for yourself this season?
My expectations are to make the team and contribute in any way I can. And, you know, that sounds cliche, but I swear it's the truth. I mean, I want to be on the team. And I don't want to leave Miami. You know, if I have a choice in the matter, and I want to help the team.
Hey, man, that sounds great. Chaz, I really appreciate your time. Now, before I let you go, I want to ask a few quick and fun questions just to get to know you a bit. Is that all right?
Fine with me.
All right, man. What is your favorite TV show and movie?
Oh, dude. Favorite TV show? I'd probably have to say it's either Boardwalk Empire or Game of Thrones. And movie, I don't even know. Probably, if I had to choose one, probably either Inglourious Bastards or The Town. Those are 2 of my favorites.
All right, man. You're a defensive tackle, man. I know you like to eat. What is your favorite thing to eat?
I do like to eat. I eat I've impressed people everywhere I go, including the Dolphins locker room, with how much I eat. Steak, man. Steak and prime rib. I have to really be careful because I'll eat it every day if I let myself.
All right, favorite thing to do in your free time?
Oh, man. Either go to the beach down here, or I love to play Xbox Live, Call of Duty. That's one of my passions.
All right, except for football, what is your favorite sport?
Oh, basketball.
Oh, man.
Or ultimate fighting. One of those.
All right, that's interesting. I never heard Ultimate Fighting, and it really is a sport that's just climbing up.
Oh, UFC, it's phenomenal. It's probably, I would actually probably have to say I enjoy watching that more than basketball. I like to play basketball more than I like to fight, probably. But yeah, I love watching MMA. It's phenomenal. And like you said,
all right. And two questions on those two sports. First, I'll talk a little bit about MMA. Who is your favorite UFC fighter? I think if I were to say, I would have to go George St. Pierre or Rampage Jackson.
Oh, like both those guys. Honestly, it was Brock Lesnar before he retired. Big fan of John Bones Jones. Big fan of Anderson Silva. Obviously those are kind of the two juggernauts, but I would have to say probably Bones Jones is my favorite to watch. He's unreal.
Hey, you hear Shane Carwin just recently retired. You hear about that?
No, I did not. When did that happen?
I think I heard about it maybe about 2 or 3 days ago. He announced it via Twitter.
Oh, that is disappointing. Wow.
Yeah, I know. And now you mentioned basketball. I have to ask you about this. You're in Miami. I don't know if you know this or not, Chase. I'm in Chicago. We have the Chicago Bulls taking on the Miami Heat right now. Have you been keeping up with that series?
Oh, yeah. I went to the first game down there. It was actually my first game I've been to.
Oh, that was a great one.
yeah, for you. No, but I'm actually, to be honest, I don't know if I said this, but I'm more of a Knicks fan than anything. But, I like to see the Heat do well. Obviously there's a huge fan base for them down here.
All right, that's pretty interesting. A New York Knicks fan right here. Man, I bet Dolphins fans are disappointed. All right, hey, Chaz, if you were able to meet any famous person, who would that be and why?
If I could meet, you said anyone in person?
Any famous person, who would that be and why?
Oh, man. Never really thought about it. Probably, honestly, up there, Carmelo Anthony would be up there. Or like I said, John Bones Jones, just because I'm a big fan of both those guys and how they dominate their craft.
All right, that's reasonable. And last but not least, this is going to be a tough one, Chaz. What is something about Chaz Alecxih that many people do not know about?
I love to read. I read every single night before I go to bed. I probably go through 3 to 4 books a month.
Now, oh wow. See, I never heard that question before. I never heard that answer before.
Yeah, no, I just kind of, growing up, I was not ever really good at math, but I could read very well, and it's just kind of always something I've stuck with. I read the Bible a lot. I read a lot of different books. I read a lot of John Grisham books. Can name some other authors, but you probably wouldn't know them. But yeah, I love to read. It helps me sleep at night.
I just finished reading this book. For any reason, have you ever been a professional wrestling fan?
Gotta be honest. More MMA than professional wrestling.
Yeah, I'm buddies with this guy named Bob Holly, Hardcore Holly in the WWE, and he just came out with this fantastic autobiography, and it's a must-read in my opinion. But Chaz, I got to thank you so much for your time, and it really has been a pleasure. Before I let you go, is there anything you'd like to plug on there for myself and our listeners? No, nothing, man. It's my pleasure doing the interview, and yeah, you know where to find me anytime you need me. All right, sounds good, man. I really look forward to keeping in touch, and hopefully we can do it again. Good luck this upcoming season, and take care.
Thank you. You as well.